Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guratmati Murti Beda Vibhagine Vyomabda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sabha Vedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satguru Pranatoshmaham Om Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. Okay, we're going to conclude today this chapter 6. Last week we just reached the verse 47, right? Which is page can you tell me the page, Lynn?
I can't. My winter storm took out the electricity and I lost everything, so I don't know.
Okay. Anyhow, we came to the last
page 50. Hold on, page 1357.
Okay, exactly. Okay. We came to the last verse of the chapter 6, which is the verse 47. And Swamiji decided to revise the last few verses of the chapter 6. And later on, he's going to do the summary of the entire chapter 6, as he usually does. So the verse 47 is similar to the previous one. When he says, let's go to the previous one so that we remember, we can contextualize it better, even though he's going to reveal those concepts. 46, he says that Dhyana Yogi is greater than ascetics. He's considered even greater than Jnana Yogis. Dhyana Yogis is greater than Kami Yoga as well. Therefore, Arjuna become a Dhyana Yogi. So Dhyana goes for meditation. And in Vedanta, when we come to Dhyana, the ultimate Dhyana is Nirguna Dhyana, which is the Nididhyasana, okay? So, but if you talk in terms of Dhyana on a different context, it's more like Samadhi Yoga or something like that. But in our context, it is Nididhyasana. So he's saying that the Nididhyasana is greater than ascetics. I don't remember what he refers to when he says ascetics here. You remember, Lynn?
I believe ascetics are those who practice a lot of tapas.
Tapas, yeah. Yeah, right on. So Dhyana Yoga, I mean, Nididhyasana is the greatest, much greater than the ones practicing those kind of sadhanas, no? Tapas. And Dhyana Yoga is considered even greater than Jnana Yoga. So he's really glorifying the Nididhyasaka, okay? The one who is doing this ultimate meditation in the light of the declarations of the Upanishads. So he's considered even greater than the Jnana Yoga. The Jnana Yoga is the one studying the scripture, but on the Shravana and Manana stage, okay? And then he says the Jnana Yogas, the Jnana Yogas, which is the Nididhyasana Yogis is greater than Kami Yogis as well, of course, naturally, you know. So it's the greatest, the last stage in this process is a contemplation on the declarations of identity present in the Upanishads. Therefore, so work to become a Nididhyasaka. That's the point. So very, very rare individuals come to the Nididhyasana as presented by the Upanishads. And the reason we know it requires certain qualifications which are not easily found among the people searching, doing some sort of a spiritual search or seeking or something. This thing about spiritual search, when they say call off the search and so on, is because people believe that they are searching the self. But when we come to the Nididhyasana, Vedantic Nididhyasana, they say, no, you don't need to seek because you are the self. And now begins the process of trying to understand why you are the self, so that you can confidentially claim it to be your free and independent nature. Okay, and that brought us to the last verse, which is, Swami also mentioned that therefore, just go beyond being a yani yogi. Go beyond the stage of Shravana and Manana, okay? Go beyond the stage of Shravana and Manana. What does that mean? Is that I'm not going to be fully satisfied unless I can claim it with confidence. So I don't want to depend on the expositions of the Upanishads again and again, reading and listening from the guru and this and that. So I want to have this self-knowledge present in my life, in my mind, alive in my mind, with certainty and conviction and so on. And then I need to, before I need Nididhyasaka bhava, okay? So I need to really do what? It's not enough. Listening and contemplating is good, but then we need to go through the Nididhyasana, which is the ultimate phase, stage, of which is similar in the language of Dayananda, which is nothing but make an effort to claim it to be your nature with clarity and conviction, So what is in there preventing me from claiming? I already understood. I went through so much trouble and none. Now I want to claim it, and I want to, enjoy the fruits, the pollen of this claiming. So I can claim until I have the pollen. So like that saying, fake it until you make it. So you can fake it, but it's not really fake it if you have done enough Shravana and Manana. You're just like determined. I'm never going to accept my inferior nature as my true nature. Okay, even though those vasana, those tendencies somehow betrays this knowledge, but I stand up again and again and I keep claiming it's much more than just faking it so that you can get a good idea, a good notion, a good ego, no? No, that is the process. Assimilation, you may call, or internalization, or application, remembering your true nature and making an effort to live from that perspective of knowledge. Therefore, do not stop just by listening. Do not wait for the next class. Do your homework. Verse 47, even among the dhyana yogis, so the ones who are doing the Nididhyasana yoga, only those faithful one who meditates upon me with a mind fully present and absorbed in me, is the best yoga. What is meaning to say? Meaning to say that even among all the Nididhyasakas, not all of them are going to be able to claim it with full conviction. No? The best yogis are the ones that do that with total shraddha and with intensity of desire, the mumukshutva, intense desire to realize, actualize, or howsoever we want to put it in words, internalize. And I want to see. I remember in my days I used to pray after I gave up meditating. I want to pray, so I know I am you. Now in those days I used to see as God something other than myself. I know that I and you are the same thing, the same consciousness. So please reveal yourself to me before me, so that I can get a certainty regarding that. That was my prayer. I did not know Vedanta. So those who have the mind really absorbed in this desire to go to know God as one's very nature is considered to be the best of the nididhyasakas. And then you can enjoy the fruits. It's a similar the idea of the previous verse, but with a different spice to it, It's more like you don't want to be just nididhyasaka. You want to be a yani, and for that, the mumukshutva, the intense desire of bring your mind and keep your mind obsessed with this goal, must be there. And then Swami goes about saying that there are people who, everybody knows what meditation is. When we fall in love for the first time, we are going to samadhi in regards to that object of meditation. So we keep thinking of our beloved one 24/7 without any effort. So we all know what is to be focused on something, to be contemplating, meditating on something, So even the criminals, the murderers, they do meditate upon killing someone, that much so that the judge are going to say, yes, it was a premeditated murdering, assassination. So meditation, contemplation, and focusing is something that we experience along with a samsaric life as well. So now we have to shift from using an object of this mithya, anatima world, to meditate upon, to the satya, which is the true nature of nirguna atma, as my object of contemplation, meditation, and nididhyasana. So we came down to the point that meditation upon nirguna atma is meditation upon God. And then we understand that the nature of Jiva and the nature of God is both nirguna atma, and that is the only knowledge that can allow the Jiva to live in this world, but with a sense of freedom from this world. It takes great maturity. It takes a process that allows no shortcuts. Okay, this is my teaching. And then on the following page begins another file that revises the verse 43 to 47. So we remember that in the verse 43, 44, Arjuna was going through another kind of crisis. In the beginning, the first and the second chapter, Arjuna was going to a crisis of not wanting to fulfill his swordharma. He did not want to fight that fair and just war, And now he's facing another crisis. The crisis is now that he understood that fundamentally this war is an inner war between knowledge and ignorance, between good and evil. What we see in the world nowadays. So it has always been that way. So now he has clear that he's not fighting the people on the other side. Some of them being people he was had respect and love towards to. Now he knows that it's a war between knowledge and ignorance. Knowledge in regards to three nature of reality, true nature of God, or ignorance. And going through all these chapters, going through a lot of these teachings, and then Arjuna came to this vision, and he got into another crisis. The crisis now is, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not going to be, it requires refinement, purification, and vairagya, and good viveka, and I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to make it. Why? Because gradually, but surely, Krishna took Arjuna to the 6th chapter, in which he says, now you have to go to the Vedantic Upasana, which is Nididhyasana, and you need the mind to be focused on the teaching so that it can reflect upon and then apply the teaching, remember the teachings, live from the perspective of the teaching. So you need to have a purified, refined, focused mind. And then Arjuna tried, and he discovered that his mind was too rajasic. And he said, I'm not going to make it. That was the second crisis he had along the teachings. No? And Arjuna Krishna had to work a little bit harder and extend the chapter 6 to try to encourage him to overcome this feeling of being self-defeated, which was self-defeating him. He said, I do not think I will ever accomplish this. No? He feels that in his life, he will never do it. And then he went through all those questions. So if I don't conclude it, if I don't really reach my destination, so have I wasted everything? So, and then Krishna was explaining, take it easy, you take everything with you, nothing's lost, in the spiritual realm. Okay. It's Krishna's answer to such a question. And Krishna points out that the person who has come to this spiritual journey, to anyone who is sincerely involved, dedicated to the spiritual search, for such a person, there is no question of a spiritual fall or decline. Like in the Karma Yoga, it said that for a Karma Yoga, which is based on actions with a certain knowledge, attitude that brings some results, the results is purification, refinement, and punya. So with the Karma Yoga case, so there is no question that goes wasted, because every action is producing the result, which is a step forward in purification, refinement, regardless of the practical results of those actions, literal actions. No? Shankaracharya also say that once this spiritual vasana, based on these teachings, planted in the human mind, they cannot be destroyed. This is strong, especially coming from Shankaracharya. We have to pay attention. No? So it can never be destroyed. They are so powerful, these spiritual vasanas. What is going to happen if you don't go all the way to your final destination? There is no room for stagnation, no room for decline. It happens that you have moved forward, because with the teachings, with the Nididhyasana, or the teachings of Vedanta, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, you have two kinds of balance. Now, one is self-knowledge and moksha, and the other is further purification, refinement, development of the qualifications necessary. He said, even if you die before that, in next life, you're going to come with those vasanas. In the beginning, the vasanas are not going to be apparent. But then at certain age, and then those spiritual knowledge, they just emerge in one's mind. And then he presents the analogy of glowing embers of the fire that they can become suppressed, like covered by ashes. But if you fan it a little bit, and then it comes to flames again. So that happens in early age for these people who were born highly qualified in their life, last birth. So similarly, an individual that came with spiritual vasanas, which were never destroyed, they may appear to be temporarily stagnated in childhood and going through adolescence and so on. But then there comes a point, those vasanas, fire up again, and then they move quickly to their destination. Okay. We don't want to go too slow here because these are all concepts we have seen. They're all beautiful. We can enjoy. This is good music. But I would like to begin next week with the chapter 7, which is all about the nature of God, the nature of Nirguna Brahman, which is a very beautiful chapter, complementary to this one. And then he reminds us the Katha Upanishad, there is a mantra that says that spiritual knowledge can be clearly attained only in 2 lokas. And then Swami says that there are 14 lokas according to our scriptures. We can get this spiritual knowledge. I love this term, spiritual knowledge or spiritual wisdom, okay? Because self-knowledge is Atmayanam, which is the final and most important knowledge. But spiritual knowledge, spiritual wisdom, is the complete knowledge, which involves the nature and the knowledge of the nature of Saguna Brahman and its laws and principles, and of course, the true nature of Saguna Brahman as Nirguna Atma, identical to the Jiva Atma. And then he says, this full knowledge, the entire spiritual knowledge, spiritual wisdom can be gained in 2 lokas, and we have 14 lokas. In 12 of those other lokas, it's not available. Or if you get it, it is abstract, it's not clear. He does not elaborate on this, Swamiji. But it's what I sense, by some for inference, even the inference of the state of deep sleep and dreaming, in which the experience is a little bit cloudy or foggy or just abstract. So when knowledge cannot be really clearly accomplished. So there are 12 lokas that you cannot get it. Well, if you get it, it's not clear knowledge. There are only 2 lokas in which it can clearly be attained. And we know which are these 2 lokas. One is our loka, Manushya loka, and the other is Brahma loka. And actually, you will tell, okay, no, if I don't get it in here, don't worry, I'm going to go to Brahma Loka and get the knowledge directly from Brahmaji. And this is an attitude of postponement, and not to say that Brahma Loka is so difficult. Shankaracharya says it's almost impossible to reach there. It's extremely difficult, okay? Why? Because you have to go through such a process, develop so many yogic powers to travel through all those lokas and be able to get to the last upper loka, remaining somehow conscious with your intellectual faculty available to you. He says it's almost impossible. He says that you have to get a special visa, and this visa is very difficult, So what about getting Manusha Yana? So to get the knowledge, self-knowledge, spiritual knowledge, complete teachings, in this in this realm, no? It's easy, no? He says to get this self-knowledge here is also difficult, but it's possible in not very difficult, as much difficult as getting to Brahmaloka. Once you're in Brahmaloka, it's saying here and there, then it's easy. The problem is how to get there. Excuse me. So, and furthermore, we already here. So why we want to work to get into the other loka? We already in this loka. Self-knowledge is possible here. Why to postpone and say, no, I'm going to get it after it goes through these lokas and so on? Having enjoyed the pleasures of heavenly lokas as a result of punya, né? This yogi will come to Manusha loka, the loka in which we are, and he will get self-knowledge. He will get first the ideal birth with the ideal conditions for concluding one's journey. So what are the two conditions? A scope for a spiritual study. You cannot get anywhere on the earth. There are places beyond Vedic culture. Everywhere Vedic knowledge is not available. Therefore, the first thing, there should be an environment for getting contact with the scriptural knowledge. So the first thing is you have to get in contact with the scripture. The scripture is not available in New York City, or maybe now with the ashram of Dayananda and so on, and other swamis, no? But generally speaking, India is the best environment for that, the ideal environment. And then he says, Krishna says that Yoga Brashta will have both. First, he will have a family condition, social condition, and the scriptures, and then the guru is going to be available. So classes will be available as well. There will be classes in the internet at a certain point. So this is the first condition. No? And the guru should be that class of guru, which is a teaching guru, communicating guru, not a silent guru, not an inspirational guru, not an initiating guru, not a guru that teaches esoteric mystical things, but which teaches the true nature of reality. Okay. And then so I'm saying that it's very interesting to see people come from all over the world to Chennai to get my classes here. Yeah? But from Chennai itself, most people do not come. So we know that. Well, you know how it is. I remember most of the people, most of the gurus I met in India, some of the gurus, I did not meet that many in person, but they used to have appreciation for the foreigners, including Nisargadatta. He used to say here and there. I did not meet him in person, by the way, because we travel from so far. That was saying something about us, you know. So India is a great environment. India, we have a spiritual culture, you know, in which spirituality can be felt in the air. Devotion is thick, you know. The temples are filled with a certain sattvic energy. India is a spiritually oriented country. I should not make much advertisement because Silva is going to want to pack up and move to India. Sometimes she says that. So the environment must be there, guru must be there, scripture must be there. And the person is there because it has a spiritual vasana that brought the person to this lifetime, get in contact with this first condition, for self-knowledge. He says that there are many people in India that go through all the ashramas and they never come to the point of becoming Nididhyasaka, But some, they are just spiritual geniuses that very rapidly they get there. This inclination will appear in the early life, early time, early stage of life. So that's what we say, last birth, Purva birth, Janima. There are, if there is a 10 years boy or girl becoming a musical genie, blah, 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 and then we know those examples. Brihadaranya Upanishad beautifully says, when the jiva travels, not only the jiva takes all the karmas, not only the jiva takes all the upasanas, the jiva takes purva pranya cha. Purva pranyas means vasanas. So the jiva is going through birth to birth, taking up upasanas, and then developing vasanas. Upasanas are going to produce spiritual vasanas. And that is here indicated by the word Buddhi Samyoga. Buddhi here indicates Vasana Samyoga. While everybody is wandering here and there looking for security, money, and pleasures, this person does not seem to have much interest in none of that. Some people meditate on money very intensely, effortlessly. But these other people, they are going to more easily meditate on spiritual books. The inclination is there. Okay, what he's saying here. I find myself with this inclination. I do not have an explanation. The only explanation must be what? I brought it from my previous birth. It can only be that. The vasanas which I have come with now, they are acquired in my previous birth. With those vasanas, the person gets connected with the guru and the scripture. Okay. And that is a great advantage because we came with good vasanas. I mean, one thing is to come with spiritual vasana. Another thing is to come here to begin developing spiritual vasanas. Coming here to begin moving from being a materialistic person to a person interested in spirituality. So we came with this inclination, which is often present here with advantage. Similarly, a spiritual genius cannot take the life for granted. He's saying that even people who came with this advantage, we need to be careful. Don't take things for granted. Don't postpone it. Don't take it too easy. Don't be negligent, even though you have good vasanas, because this opportunity may be lost. So therefore, what he's missing, he came here, he brought a load of good spiritual vasanas. The vasanas put them in contact with the scripture and the teaching guru in a good environment. Everything is working for the person. And then what is still missing there? If it's not developing this other condition, the person may waste this opportunity. So he has to learn to exercise its vasana, free will, which is based on these tendencies. So you need to use this free will to further move in your progress. You already have all this inclination, but this inclination cannot be taken for granted. Don't get too distracted with samsara. This inclination has to be protected like a small flame. It has to be fanned so that it grows into a burning flame. You have to nourish this flame, protect it, and so on. So what is the subject of the sentence? You have to supply yoga brasta. This yoga brasta of previous births. You need to strive more. But the thing is, since he got the advantage of Purva, the previous birth, the effort required now is less. So the same determination, application, enthusiasm, and dedication, determination of previous births has to continue now, but now you have the advantage of having all of that working for you. So now you just have to swim a little bit more. A little more effort is required, but not much. It's like swimming along with a current. When the current is favorable to you, your effort is minimum. You have to only float and move very little, and then you get there. What do you want to get? You want to get to self-knowledge and moksha, which is the combination of your spiritual journey. You need to strive a little bit, but the effort required is not like it used to be. It's just a little effort. It's like when you start pedaling the cycle, and then after you got a momentum, and then it's easy. No much effort to keep moving. Hey, Arjuna, therefore be happy. You have good vasanas. You are moving the good direction. You got the best teacher. So be optimistic and watch out your mind and be positive. Exercise your free will with a positive attitude. And Arjuna, like most of us, we will draw towards the spiritual path, even unwillingly. Yeah, I mean, I know that when I start being drawn to this, I say, oh my God, no, what am I going to do? I'm going to destroy my career. I'm going to disappoint everybody. I'm going to become a spiritual hippie. And but there is this drawing, it's very difficult to explain. People end up believing that we are crazy, that we lost it. My family thought I lost it. The fame of silver, big time. And the person soon goes beyond the karma kanda of the Vedas and enters the Veda Anta, the Veda Kanda, the Yana Kanda of the Vedas, Veda Anta. And then Swami says that the spiritual inclinations express itself. How does the spiritual vasana express themselves? It's expressed because when you see you are in connection with spiritual groups, spiritual teachers, and the scriptures, you attracted to that. If you attract to spirituality, it means that you came with spiritual vasanas. It's that simple. If you attract towards money, in security and pleasures. It means you came with a huge load of those vasanas. But some people, they come in at very early age, they are totally consumed by this desire for self-knowledge. Even if the whole family try to discourage them, like they tried to do, my father, my mother, with me, you can't help, you get confused. You just go, oh my God, I'm destroying my life, I'm breaking the heart of my family, but I have to become a spiritual vagabond, All because of this purva, vasana. Means the person is sucked, attracted to anything connected to Atmayana, spirituality. The person is not deliberately planning it. The person is always wants to say, no, I don't want to go there, but it's like a magnet pull that you can't resist afterwards. Helplessly, you are pulled. And even if you want to turn materialistic, it's very interesting because once, at least twice, I tried to drop everything, to go back to society, to take care, because I used to live without any money in my pocket. And I had a child at the age of 6, 7, 8 to take care. And moving around India most of the time without a ticket to go back anywhere. The pressure outside is huge, but in spite of that, we survive and we keep moving. We did not see this passage before. It said that in the case of Aurobindo, the family did not want him to get into the Indian culture. It's because it's a recap, he's revising. They did not want him to get involved with the Indian culture. He wanted him to be involved with the English culture, Western culture. But he was pulled, and nothing would stop that. He got sucked into the culture, and he he started like fighting the freedom struggle. He goes and became a yogi. You go into the materialistic society, if the spiritual vasana is too strong, you're gonna feel like a fish without water or outside of the water. I don't know how it says the expression in English language, exactly the way I felt. Oh my God, I couldn't understand what's going on. But these societies, these people, these values, they're not for me. Therefore, if the spiritual fire is there, don't fight any tendency. If you have a child or if you see that there are some spiritual tendencies there and the person wants to turn materialistic, let it be. The person is not going to stay much long there. Sooner than later, he is going to turn again into the search for the true nature of God. Spiritual maturity, Swami Shimayananda beautifully used to say, spiritual maturity is not a revolution, but it's an evolution. You cannot force it on anyone. It's a gradual, growing process. I used to present the analogy, the example of those tomatoes that they are grown in the winter, in those chambers with gas to make them red. They taste nothing because they were not mature, naturally mature. Don't try to force you cannot force the conditions that brings about spiritual maturity. The vasanas have to grow. And once the vasanas are there, the person is going to be dragged like a strong current. At the beginning, most of us will begin as curious people. Oh, what is in there? What is this thing about enlightenment and this and that? And then it becomes a kind of a hobby. Now, often I notice, observe that people, they are not very serious, but they have academic interests. You know, they're intellectuals. They want to learn some of this, but they have a academic approach to it. They are curious people. They want to get academic knowledge. But sometimes one thing turns into another, and the small flame comes about, and then the person becomes a true, genuine spiritual seeker. There are some examples of people that go and travel on business, and then get in contact with the Vedic culture. And then they just change the course of their lives. Okay. We remember the analogy of the camphor and banana. The example of things that catch fire easily and things that are going to kill any fire. Yeah. Charcoal means coals. You have to keep working on that a little bit, but patiently and consistently, the coal is going to catch fire, will blow. And the other one is the other one is the one that it's going to kill the fire, like the banana trunk. I don't remember how to say that. 3 different kinds of students, so I'm just revising that. And some students, some Vedanta students, they come because it feels good. You understand? The same way people try to meditate to feel better. Some people come to my classes in Brazil just because it makes them feel better. It pacifies the mind, makes one more calm. But that is the beginning. That must grow to the point that the one does not want just to feel good, but wants to know the truth in regards to what the Upanishads are saying. They want to realize that truth. They want knowledge, not feeling good. One gets tired of wanting to feel good, wanting to feel bliss and peace and silence, whatnot. I want to be free. I want to have this knowledge. Therefore, as says in this verse, the person transcends the karma kanda, meaning to say that he moves into Vedanta. The Jnana kanda coming to the pursuit of moksha. And if the process of maturity was truly, genuinely developed, the person is going to conclude one's journey very quickly. So the verse 45 just as a reminder, a yogi who is refined through many births and who is free from impurities attains the supreme goal consequently. Krishna says the one who is free of is relatively pure, is free from excessive impurities. Is going to be qualified for self-knowledge and moksha. And how does now he's going to ask? So before he was saying like, you want to have good vasanas. Vasanas is going to provide you with a good environment. The environment is going to provide you with the scriptures and with the teaching guru. This is one side. Now he's talking about the other aspect. The other aspect is the qualifications, mental maturity or mental purification, refinement. You may get good vasanas here, but you may not be qualified. And Swamiji as well, he would like to have a purity meter, but he did not succeed in create one. So we need to infer, so how I'm going to measure my mental impurity? We have seen it already in the beginning of the chapter 6. The purity is expressed itself as a natural attraction, inclination. Yeah. You cannot be purified, you cannot be mostly unpurified and have an inclination towards Vedanta. Have you ever seen somebody like that? No, it's impossible. We need to have a certain degree of purification to come even close to Vedanta. And where does person got this inclination, this purification? From previous births. It's not that Ishvara is partial and takes sympathy towards certain babies. This is an intelligent design order, and it's called order because it is intelligently structured, ordered. Therefore, Krishna says that advantage this person enjoys. It's like people who want to save some cash and then later on enjoy. So, but they had to work to save money. No? So we need to produce good vasanas that requires effort so that later on we can enjoy those tendencies, those vasanas. But we cannot neglect that the exercise of free will has to be present so that we do not miss this opportunity. The person who has attained this qualification, refinement, maturity, is going to have a clarity in regards to the real goal. So the goal is no longer artha karma, but it is dharma moksha. Only a person with purification, refinement is going to have clarity of intention, clarity of goals. Okay. What is my primary goal in life? Artha karma or dharma moksha? If it is dharma moksha, then in this lifetime, his efforts will gonna be not much required, just limited efforts. There are some people who like to start to the examination in the last moment, and then it's a little bit harder, but it's possible, a lot of struggle. But even though if there is a strong struggle to overcome those lack of qualification, it means that there are good vasanas, spiritual vasanas, which has, compelled the person to struggle, to go through those adverse karmas. Like walking on a razor's edge, whereas for this person, it's just having a nice afternoon Sunday walk. So the people who has to do a lot of work comes up with this idea that is so hard, it's like walking on a razor's edge. And some people may say, what? For me, it was just a nice afternoon walk on the beach. No struggle, no fear, no big challenge. Therefore, this person who came qualified, relatively qualified, reached the destination for sure. As a result of the limited use, means consequently as a limited use of free will. Yeah. Did you know one? I need to do much effort. Just a little bit. So reading the scriptures is going to be easy. He's not going to find much contradictions. It's going to be natural. Things I start falling into place like that, and then you see things being harmonized. And then the verse 46, so we may pass 10 minutes here just to conclude this. 46 say Dhyana Yoga is greater than ascetics. He is considered even greater than, and so on. We begin our class today on this verse. Therefore become Nididhyasaka or Arjuna. In fact, the previous verse, Krishna answered Arjuna's question. And in this, he starts talking about something else. He's saying that don't be pessimistic. The minimum you're going to get from doing this work is good punya and refinement and so on. And the maximal is moksha. Therefore, you will only win. So stay with it. Be upasana, nididhyasaka. What happens is even if the person has some adverse sanchita papas, these spiritual samskaras, vasanas are so powerful that they give a stay order to this. I'm sure that we did this part of this verse before, right? No? Maybe not. Because it looks fresh to my memory. So if we come with some sanchita papas, some adverse vasanas tendencies, but we come with also spiritual samskaras, they are so powerful that are going to suspend or freeze the sanchita papam. They do not destroy the sanchita papams. To destroy the sanchita papas, we need atmayana. Therefore, they keep the sanchita papams at bay. I even asked you what it means at bay,
Yeah, you're right, Alinda. We did study this before.
Yeah. Then why are we studying again? Let me see here. No, he revised everything. He repeated itself in this last file. Okay. The page was correct. but he was just repeating himself. The same concepts over and over again. He decided, because there it was from 1 week to another, he decided to go back and not only talk about the verse 47, but recap the 40, from 43 to 47 to conclude this chapter 6. So the concept here is that you cannot skip Kama Yoga, you cannot skip Upasana, much less observance of Dharma, that here and there we may call it Dharma Yoga. By the way, I heard Swamiji the other day calling it Dharma Yoga. You know? But there was a time that after Ramji started calling Dharma Yoga, I heard him say that he was the first one bringing up this expression, Dharma Yoga, but I heard him saying that as well, much earlier, 20 years earlier. Okay. So we have to go. There is no shortcut. Kama Yoga, Dharma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Shravanam, Mananam, and then Nididhyasana is the last stage. And Krishna did revise these teachings to glorify not only the Nididhyasana, Vedantic Nididhyasana, but to glorify the Nididhyasaka, the Vedantic meditator as the highest. He is making an effort to glorify Arjuna by saying, be a Nididhyasaka. He talks about many different sadhakas to bring us to Nididhyasaka and say, this is the greatest, therefore be a Nididhyasaka. And why is the greatest? Because he's the closest to Atmayanan, and which is just claiming with full conviction your true identity nature. He did already Kama Yoga, Dharma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, and then he did a lot of Shravana, Manana, and now he's just doing Nididhyasana. So he's the closest of all the sadhakas, of all sadhanas presented in this process, Vedantic process. The last one is the closest to one's goal, is the highest, of course. Those are the different kinds of seekers. Tapavis, Upasakas, Saguna Upasakas, Nirguna Upasakas, which is Nididhyasana. Those are the groups of spiritual aspirants. Those who are committed to Kama Yoga, those who are committed to Upasana, those who are committed to Shravana and Manana, and finally those, the fourth category that's committed to Nididhyasana, is the one most close to one's final destination, is the last step. Among all these sadhakas, all these yogs, Krishna says the Nididhyasana yogi, or Nididhyasana step, is the closest to one's destination because they have already crossed the 4 other stages or steps, and they came very close to moksha. So what is in there? It's just still some very subtle obstacles somehow preventing the person to fully and clearly claim with conviction that I am pre-limitless consciousness and nothing can touch me. Therefore, Krishna says, be a Nididhyasaka. if you want moksha, you have to cross the other stage. And now you are here, you are getting the teachings from Krishna Guru, and be confident you will not be totally unqualified if you're not, in order to get Krishna Guru teaching this, you must have certain qualifications. Don't be pessimistic or negative. Then he says, so open your mind, good attitude, understand that this is the last stage. Don't get distracted in the world of other things. The teachings, and the teacher is going to provide the teachings. The teaching is going to fill up your mind with wisdom. Yeah? And wisdom is like light that dispels darkness. It's going to fill with light, and then the mind is going to shine with Atmayana. But if the student comes with these weird ideas of how enlightened they are, well, if they don't have enough trust in the Vedantic scriptures, and then it's not going to work. The student must keep all notions aside. Otherwise, it's just confusion. If there is too much confusion, the teacher has to work very hard to remove all the rubbish. And the students are going to be clinging to the rubbish, thinking that it is good knowledge. Therefore, Nididhyasana is the highest. And then the final verse is the verse 47 that we have seen. Even among those Nididhyasakas, the ones that are fully committed and obsessed, observed in me as Nirguna Atma, as their own true nature identity, those are the best yogs that are going to reach the final destination. Hari Om. We are not going to do the summary. We have agreed that it stays as a homework option for you guys. Next Friday, we begin with chapter 7, okay? Anything from you?
I'm glad we went over these verses again, because every once in a while one needs some encouragement.
Definitely. My experience was like, I have given up totally. I said, no, this thing will never work for me. Actually, I never really gave up, because every time I would take a short vacation, and then the spiritual vasana was coming, and then when I was trying to meditate again and so on, I was already so conditioned that, living in samsara, running a restaurant, every time I would do a vacation, I would take my spiritual books of Nisargadatta and Ramana. Why I would take it, rather than go and enjoy nature, enjoy a short trip to relax from the restaurant. No, I would take my spiritual book. So you wish you can give it up, but I couldn't. And then when you least expect, things move in a way that unexpectedly. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Namaste. Until Monday and Tuesday, Philip you coming back today. On Monday and Tuesdays, we are doing the Keno Upanishad in English. And the link to the document in English is there in our WhatsApp.
I downloaded.
Okay. And the same time as today, okay? It's beginning at 11 a.m. Brasilia time. Okay. Namaste. Thank you.
And,
Thank you, Alinda.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.